Hey guys, welcome back to Out of Work Outdoors. Today we're talking about rod companies. Primarily, what companies do we like? Okay, so start off with a story. Okay, so maybe to keep your attention a little bit better, but story. There's a story of this was about 10 years ago. We were still doing a lot of striper fishing, and I was at the time. I was still fishing really inexpensive entry level equipment, right? So my birthday was coming up, and I was like, I'm gonna buy something nice. I deserve something nice. I've been fishing a lot of these lower end rods and reels for a long time, like 20 some years now. I'm gonna give myself something nice. I'm gonna give myself something nice. First thing that came to mind was I'm gonna go get a St. Croix rod. But it had to meet a lot of specifics. That's when you start looking at the higher end rods, but you're just like, it's got to do certain things. You don't take people's recommendations too much anymore, and you're just like, I know what I want. I just have to go see if somebody actually makes it, right? So I said, and I had a really tight specification for these too. Train tracks. So I said, I wanted a 2-piece because up until 5 or 6 years ago, we never had 1-piece rods. It's always been 2-piece rods. We put them in the back trunk. It's easy to transport, easy to hide, things like that. So I said I needed a 2-piece spinning rod, right? But at the same time, I wanted a medium heavy rod. And if you guys know anything about spinning rods and medium heavy, those two words do not go in the same sentence. Okay, so yeah. It was a journey. I looked at all bunch of manufacturers, rod builders. They don't make them. When they do make them, and you go and you hold it, it's just not. It just doesn't feel right. Like the backbones is not good enough, things like that. So it took me a little while. It took probably like a month out. I jump on the St. Croix website. And I'm like, you know what? Forgot about St. Croix. Sorry guys, morning sinuses. So I jump on the St. Croix website, and I'm like, yep. They do have it. I had to go through the entire lineup. And, I'm on a budget too, so I'm thinking like no more than $130 for my rod, right? So I go, okay, let's go to St. Croix, let's check out the entire lineup, see if they have what I have, see if they have what I want. So I go through it, and I find the rod that has the characteristics that I want, right? And it is in the Premier line. So in the Premier line, they offered exactly what I wanted: 7-foot medium heavy 2-piece. All right, and it was about $155, which is over my budget. I was like, dang, that's not good. But it's only $20. If it's really that good, like if I get there and if I hold the rod right, and the rod is that good, I'm gonna buy it. All right, it's a little stretch, but in a month's time or two, I'll have the money for it. I'll have the budget for it. So I'm like, all right, we go down to local Bass Pro Shops. Oh yeah, by the way, hats are for sale. $35 shipped in the lower 48 states. So if you want one, let me know. I'm limited quantities. I think I only have less than 10 left. So hit me up on Facebook or just reply to this, and we'll work something out with you. But anyways, support the channel. Okay, so anyways, I got a hold of what I wanted. It's on the website. I go to local Bass Pro because they carry St. Croix rods too. I get there, they have a couple of the Premier rods. I pick one up. It's a 7-foot medium, and I'm looking for the medium heavy 2-piece, and they don't have any 2-pieces really. So the local Bass Pro, they carry more of like crappy rods from the Premier stuff, at least the ultralight stuff. And don't get me wrong, that ultralight stuff is really good too, but in this case specifically, I was looking for something that was very specific. I want to throw top waters. And if you guys follow the channel since it was born, like 10 years ago, we did basically nothing but top waters. Top water stripers and shallow water, running water. It was good times, put it that way. Go back and watch all that stuff. That stuff is unbelievable. And we basically, I said, I don't want to order it because what if it gets here? And keep in mind, at the time, online sales wasn't that good. So if you get something you don't like, a lot of times to ship it back $50, and you're like, oh man, that's not good. So in my opinion, I wasn't gonna buy it. I was gonna just wait until it just showed up one day. So fast forward maybe 6 months, and my sister wants me to go visit. She lives in Minnesota, so I go up to visit, and there's a Cabela's close by, and I go into the Cabela's, and there it is. You know, there's an entire line. Cabela's up there is like, they love their St. Croix. So I get up there, there's an entire aisle of just St. Croix rods. And I walk down the aisle and I find it. There's 2 of them in stock. 7-foot medium heavy. 2-piece. I'm like, yeah, let's hold it. So I grab it. I'm just like, damn, that feels pretty dang good, right? And then I bend it. Everybody has to bend these rods. You never, ever buy a rod without bending it. So I bend it. And I do the ground stick thing. And it's a good action that I like. So I'm just like, damn, this is gonna work. This is gonna work for my needs, right? So I look at both of them, and I pick the better quality ones, right? When it comes to quality, what I'm talking about is the eyes all straight, and you look at the epoxy just from the eye seats, and make sure everything's just like epoxy, right? So I picked the better one of the 2. I bring him, and I was gonna pay for it, but the time, my sister was like, I haven't seen you for a while. I missed your birthday, so I'll pay for it. So I got a free ride. Great, awesome. So I get it home, and I pair it with at the time, I replaced my rod. I kept an existing reel. I had a Fluger President 30 size. It was pretty good. And then I was like, you know what? Now it feels like the rod is overpowering the reel. Like, you can feel the reel struggling to keep up with the rod when you're casting. So I said, you know what? Since I saved $150, I'm going to go for that Shimano. The Shimano CI4 Plus. At the time, it was just the reel, right? So I bought the 3000 size, paired that up with it. 10-pound Power Pro original. And boy, that combo is still, when it comes to a 7-foot rod, that class, it still beats everything we have. It beats everything we got. So I'm really impressed with the rod. But that's the story. I bought that rod specifically for that duty, top one duty. And to this day, if you're gonna say, we're gonna go fishing somewhere, it's gonna be top water action. We don't really know the size of the fish. That's the rod that goes out. If you guys still like that rod and still use it, and still have it. It's kind of in a retirement mode right now because we do a lot of bass fishing. We can bring a lot more other things now, but when it comes to stripers, that's number 1 choice. Anyways, the St. Croix stuff, we have a lot of experience with it, you can say, over a long period of time too. So that was the St. Croix story for me. And then after that, we started tournament bass fishing. I lost a big fish in a brush pile one time because the rod I had just wasn't strong enough to pull it out of the brush pile. As soon as you hit them, you got to pull them out of the brush pile. I was fishing like a 7-foot medium heavy, beginner stuff, right? So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go buy a rod that can do the job. So I looked at a lot of brands, and I really liked the St. Croix because of that story I just told you. So I went back and bought a St. Croix. It's a St. Croix Avid X. I bought it from Cabela's again. It was like a $200 rod. That rod has won a lot of money for me personally. So brush pile fishing, jig fishing, it has done wonders. Okay, it did its job so good. I went back and bought another exact same one, 7-foot extra. I think it's extra heavy. I think this was labeled as extra heavy. Got micro guides on it. Sorry guys, it's a morning sinus. I was having morning sinuses, and that was all. That was good. That was like the last St. Croix I bought for me personally, but my circle of friends continued to buy St. Croix. And give you an example, the group of fishermen that I was kind of with, at least on the striper side, and you guys see this was it 2 years ago? I did the morning runs where I went to fish for stripers every day before I went to work. If you pay attention to that video, there's 4 legends in there. There's 4 legend surf rods. Each of them were like, I think it was $600 a piece. Okay, There's 4 of them in there. Okay, just to give you an idea how dedicated or how much influence St. Croix has had on our group, okay? And then at that same moment, I already had a 12-foot, I think it's a 12-foot, no, 11-foot Daiwa that I rebuilt, re-guided, and all that stuff. It's a Daiwa ballistic, but I re-guided with American guides just to test out a theory. But there was a need for like a 9.5, right? Because a lot of times the reason why we throw these surf rods, we're trying to get distance, right? We're trying to get 100 plus, 150 plus yards. Max cast all the time, right? But there's moments of time when you don't have to do that. A 50-yard cast is more than enough, you know. So, but you still need a lot of power. You're chucking like a 2-3 ounce bait, things like that. So for me, I didn't have a rod in that area for that gap, right? So I went out and I bought a St. Croix Avid, you know, and I still haven't had problems with it. That rod is freaking solid. That rod is freaking solid. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, that's St. Croix. St. Croix to us, to me, my 2 brothers of the channel, it is the overall, it is the best rod company that you can go with. If you can say, you know, I just want to get one guy's rod and that's it, that's the rod. That is the rod to go with. They've got everything from striper rods, surf rods, salmon rods, muskie rods. They have trout rods, panfish rods. I believe they have fly rods. Definitely bass. There seems to be 6 or 7 different lines of rods just for bass, it feels like. So they got the cheaper end reels, rods, and then they have the higher end stuff too. So some of their stuff looks really good too. If you look at the Legend Extreme, I think it's called Legend Extreme. I think it's Legend Extreme. But if you look at that rod, it looks like nothing else on the market. It's just really, really like fancy in a sense. But yeah, it's that company's got their shit together is what it feels like from a consumer's perspective. Okay guys, so that's it for today. I gotta go work. It is 12 minutes now. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and we will see you on the next one. All right, check you guys out later.